I have been an oxygen user since Christmas Eve 2003 due to my COPD, emphysema. Being the son of a doctor, as well as being an engineer myself, I have taught myself quite a lot about oxygen therapy, especially as it applies to patients with lung failure. Just to put a little perspective on this, a very rough estimate of those with COPD in the US alone is some 15 to 20 million, many of whom will eventually deteriorate to the point of needing oxygen therapy. Oxygen is what allows the body to burn the calories from food to give us energy to move. We breathe in air, and our lungs transfer the oxygen in the air to our blood. The blood in a person with healthy lungs is typically more than 98% saturated with oxygen, even when they're active. But for people with severe COPD, this is no longer true. When the blood oxygen level drops below about 95%, this becomes a limitation on their ability to continue activity at that same level. Oxygen is prescribed for people when their lungs have deteriorated, such that their blood oxygen saturation level drops below 89%, and it is typically prescribed at a flow rate of 2 liters a minute at rest, and maybe 3 liters a minute when active. And these flow rates were developed in the 1960s and early 1970s in a couple of tests showing that these people lived longer when they were given supplemental oxygen. With the coming of pulse oximeters, beginning slowly and inexpensively in the 1990s, progressive doctors were actually able to measure some patients when actually active and prescribe a more realistic flow rate for the activity, typically normal walking rate as measured. Then came finger pulse oximeters, and the really progressive doctors could prescribe oxygen to maintain oxygen saturation at a minimum of 92%, knowing that the patient could check his own oxygen saturation level when he was active. This was obviously more realistic. But when an oxygen user is sitting watching TV with his oxygen set at 2 liters a minute and his wife asks him to take out the garbage, will he put his finger pulse oximeter on and monitor his oxygen saturation level and adjust the flow to maintain 92% while carting garbage bins out to the curb? Not likely. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But imagine this, a pulse oximeter worn on the wrist, 9 day, just like a wristwatch, with no finger sensor to get in the way when you go pick up a garbage bag or open the door. It sends a Bluetooth signal, or a similar wireless signal, to a portable oxygen unit worn as a waist bag. As soon as the wrist oximeter senses the O2, that's dropping below that 92% set point, a signal goes to the oxygen unit, upping the flow until the 92% is maintained. And then, when you get back from taking out the garbage, whatever the activity, the flow rate is gradually dropped to maintain that 92%. And if the level gets too low, out of oxygen maybe, it sends out an audible alarm. This is the future. It needs the wristwatch style oximeter. The wireless control of the oxygen unit is a simple follow-on from that.